All right, so Dev, it's only fair that we bring up the Storm now because they got a couple of people on their team. Well, they had a couple people on their team. You had Sue Bird, right? You have Breanna Stewart, although that can get a little tricky right now. And then you got Jewel Lloyd. Um, let's talk about Sue Bird real quick, just real brief. Uh, how big of a hole is this for the Storm? Like, just you don't have to harp on, just like how big of a hole is it, and do you think they can fill this void relatively well this season?
I feel as though that it's a huge hole that they're gonna have to fill because even though she was older, she would only play very few games in the
Mm.
season because of injuries and things of that nature because of her age. It's still the leadership that's gone. The on court leadership is not going to be there anymore. And that's something that you just can't go out and buy or go out and draft. You have to, someone has to fill those shoes. And those are big shoes to fill. You're talking about the legendary Sue Bird, like multiple time champion, like assist leader. Like you can't just
Gray
easily go and
rumbles
replace
in,
her.
had it taken away.
And it's one of those things that I feel like Seattle, even though they have Breanna Stewart, it's going to be hard for them to win games next year because of the fact that they don't have Sue Bird with them.
So I hear that. I wholeheartedly hear that. Part of me feels like they can actually replace Sue Bird pretty decently. You got to have the right players, right? Um, I think, in kind of jumping ahead, like to the free agent targets for the Storm this season, there's a couple of names that kind of stuck out to me. Brianna Jones, right? Like, she might want a big payday. You just lost Sue Bird, so you can afford to pay her. Now you have to worry about Breanna Stewart, but you're gonna resign Breanna Stewart though. Then you also got Jewel Lloyd under contract. Although next season she's a free agent again, but you're gonna pay her also because you got a solid big three now. And then you bring in someone like Tiffany Mitchell. It might be a little pricey, but I think that's a championship team right there. You just get some pieces around that, or NECA and Shanae Ogumake. They may want to go somewhere. Why not the Storm? Like, hey, that might be a good pairing. And then you have Jordan Canada boomerang back. That's right, I said it. They're gonna steal all of the Sparks roster, at least the good pieces. I mean that I think that is like a legitimate thing to worry about because again, Jordan Canada, she was on the Storm. Like she studied under Sue Bird. So if anybody knows the team, knows the players, knows the system, it would be her. And she's gone outside of the system. So I think she might come back and appreciate the team a little bit more too. Because we had a lot of drama on our team. So I mean, you go back to the Storm, it's a little bit easier to deal with. I like that personal selection for the Storm. And again, we know Breanna Stewart might not come back with prioritization rule. And yeah, we can talk about that after I asked you that question. But like, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about those acquisitions? Do you think those are realistic? Like, what's your take?
Brianna Jones ones is surprising, but that's probably the second most realistic off that list.
Okay, okay,
Neck and Shanae aren't going up there.
okay, okay. What's
That's
the reason?
biased and unbiased. And the reason why is because there's no space for them. There's no
Why
space for
wouldn't
them.
there be? Why wouldn't there be space
You got to
for them?
remember Tina Charles is still up there too. Who's coming off the bench?
Was she was wasn't that she had a 1 year deal, right?
Yeah, but they're not gonna let her go.
I think they would let her go. It's not like Tina overly. It's not like Tina just shocked the world last year. Like
That
she played
I
well,
completely
but
agree
she
with that.
underperformed for me.
But but with the role being that five up there, that's a
Uh,
huge role. That's what they needed.
so you
And I
think
feel
more
like if they
of
had more games, if they had more games to play with each other, it would have been that they would have been the team to beat last year.
okay, okay. So you feel
So
like NECA can't guard the five, and that's what I'm hearing.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's no room up there because who you gonna put on the bench? I'm not putting
Um,
Neko on the bench. Me
Maglagore,
personally.
Maglagore could go on the bench, 6'6". Like she didn't seem like an overly impressive starter. She can start. Don't get me wrong, but like if I bring in someone like NECA, I'll just move her to the bench, and that's okay because now I have a starting caliber player on the bench that bolsters up that defense as well for the second unit. That's how I would look at it. But
And
again, I'm not bringing back Tina Charles if I can get NECA and Shanae.
okay,
Because imagine that lineup of Breanna Stewart, NECA Ogumake, Shanae Ogumake, Jewel Lloyd. That's
and
those
whoever you
four
plugging at
players,
the one.
whoever you want at the one. Which, mind you, three of those players I just named are respectable playmakers. So you don't need a playmaking point guard. You don't need
Right.
one.
You could just get a
That
shooting
could
one.
be
Just have
talented.
two shooters and then three big people just rebounding every time they miss. So
Exactly.
I
So
totally get what you're saying, but me personally, bias wise, I hope to God that doesn't happen.
okay, that's fair. That's
If
fair.
anything, they go to Texas, they go to Dallas and play.
I know we talked about that the last video that or like 2 videos ago, something like that. But like that would be interesting. It would work out if Enrique's still there, but I gotta see too because the chemistry over there seemed a little off. Personally, I know that's their home. I know they want to go back to their roots and whatnot, but I think the chemistry seemed off a little bit. Like
I can't wait till the episode we talk about the Wings because I got a lot of things I would like to say about them.
I mean, they could be a really good squad, but that we're gonna have to
Yep.
save that. We're gonna say that for them. Now, for Breanna Stewart, right? We got the prioritization rule, which, long story short, people, the WNBA just wants to make sure that their players are prioritizing the WNBA. So instead of playing overseas, you got to be at training camp. And if you're not at training camp, well, guess what? You get penalized. And if you miss training camp, well, guess what? You don't play that season. So Breanna Stewart could be in that boat. And low key, now that I think about it, a couple of WNBA players probably could be in that same boat because a lot of players play overseas and it might cut into the training camp. So how do you feel about this prioritization rule? Personally, I don't like it, but maybe you feel different. Maybe you like it.
Well, I'm actually gonna agree with you that I don't like that at all. I think it hurts the game a lot. They're trying to grow and expand their viewership, but you cut a star player because they have to go and feed their family, so they have to go overseas and make money somewhere else during the off season, and that may cut into a bit of their time in the training camp. But you got to also remember this is all about livelihood at this point. They don't make as much money as the guys in the NBA. So
Exactly.
they have to go overseas to put food on the table, keep their lights on, keep the water running here in the most expensive country on the planet.
Or
So
some are analysts and can make money that way, like Candace Parker. But you gotta
exactly,
have a second job. Like that's
you
crazy
have to.
to think of as the NBA, as a WNBA player, professional basketball player. That's wild.
Exactly. So I just feel like it hurts the game a lot. It hurts the player as well. And it hurts the team. Why are you punishing the team because one player's not coming to training camp? I don't think
Well,
the
well,
league should
on
have the
that
right
one,
to do that.
they're punishing the player, but they're trying. So the player knows of the prioritization rule. So if you really wanted to, you're gonna have to either choose the WNBA team or your overseas team. Like that's what it comes down to. That's what they're saying. So they're really penalizing the player, but you're all right. They are penalizing the team because of that. Depending on how big the player is, like in the offense and defense of schemes, but their aim is to penalize the player, not necessarily the team. But subsequently, though, it does affect the team. Like I say, it's stupid as hell. Like I wish their CBA could change that sooner rather
Yeah,
than
I
later.
don't know why. I feel like that's something they snuck in there. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
don't know.
because
Like,
there's no way in hell that I would agree to that. If I was them, I would never agree with that. Only because of the fact that I gotta still put food on the plate. So I gotta sit here for
well,
5-6 months and wait until the next season start with the lights off and no food on my table.
well, I mean, I'm not trying to act like they broke now, too. I mean, like compared to the NBA players, yes. But $120,000 is nothing to scoff at. Like there's just nothing.
That is true, but you gotta also
So
think about not all of them are making that much money.
well, right, but we said the average though. We said the average, but you are right though. Not all of them are making that, so they do need to. If you're not, if you're going to keep this rule in place, then their money needs to go up, or like there needs to be something over here that can help compensate
I do.
the money that they're missing overseas. That needs to happen because this is completely unfair. You're affecting their pockets. It's like, damn, I almost didn't want people to play overseas. Now it's like, well, if you can make more money overseas, why not just play over there? Are you
Right, and I feel like this too. You give that right to the team. You can't, the league shouldn't be able to control that, because that, honest to God, hurts the team very, very badly.
It also hurts the NBA too. Imagine not having Breanna Stewart, who just battled Asia Wilson for an entire season because of the rule
Exactly.
y'all.
It hurts the league so much. Like, the viewership for this year particularly went up after the semifinals, which was between Seattle and the Aces, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Because of the fact of that battle. She almost broke the scoring record in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You suspend a player because she's not at training camp, because she's trying to make ends meet. Come on now. You can't it doesn't make sense. You got to think about it up here. So I say you give the right to the teams if they would suspend the player for not coming to training camp. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like at the end of the day, and I can't get a soapbox real quick. At the end of the day, I need the WNBA really to realize what they're doing. Like, you are depriving us of players we want to see. That's like the NBA saying, "Hey, LeBron. Hey, KD. Hey, Steph." Maybe they might do this to Kyrie, but I don't think Kyrie has the same pedigree as Breanna Stewart. Like, this is one of the best players in the game, if not the best. Like, there's a strong debate, and you mean to tell me she can't play because she's missing training camp? Like, essentially, we're talking about practice, not a game.
We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice, bro. Like, that's wild to me. So for us as fans to be treated like this, I halfway want my money back before I even pay for it, WNBA. Like, I'm gonna let you know right now, when they come to play the Mystics, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna go in protest, especially if Breanna Stewart's not playing. Because again, there's other players on the floor. You got to support them. It just hurts us to not see them playing the game. So, but I do have another question for you, right? Because we mentioned the Sky earlier got the 5th pick, and well, the Storm got the 3rd pick. Nah, I'm playing. They got the 9th pick. But how crazy?
I was about to say, bro.
How crazy would that have been, bro?
Because you know what? When I heard 3rd pick, I thought Haley Jones, perfect replacement.
Oh, that would be easy.
That'd be
easy. What?
Easy call.
Actually, whole time she might go 2nd, so maybe you don't get Haley. But is there anyone? Because I don't have anyone at 9th right now that sticks out to me. Just because I feel like 1 through 3 isn't really going to change. You know, everything else will change. So like that's the reason why I said 5, because I was like, all right, well that fit works. But I don't have anybody at the 9th spot. How about yourself? I'm just curious.
I haven't gone through the draft report fully to get to 9. I've gotten probably to like 5, if anything, and my 1 through 3 are still the same. And yeah, it's really, I haven't gotten that far for them. And to be honest, I feel like it would be better for them if they're trying to win. If they're trying to win now, then go buy one. But if the whole Breanna Stewart situation is actually a thing and they know about it come draft time, draft somebody. Go draft a guard that needs some development and help, and get her into the system to where it can help you in the long run. You still make the playoffs maybe, or it hurts you a bit. You have a losing season, but it's exclusively because of the whole prioritization rule. And this player knows your system when Breanna Stewart gets back.
Right. Right. Yeah. Now I I debate on, like I said, if Breanna Stewart comes back, I think you go full throttle, try to win now move. But if she takes a year off, you do what the Warriors did. Like you get good draft picks,
Yep.
and that allows you to either trade up in a future draft or trade to get another star, or you have two talented players or a few talented players who you can build up to help out Breanna Stewart, Jewel Lloyd. So now you don't have to worry about the team changing too much, the team dropping too much, because they're getting good reps in with the starters, and they're getting, like, good time and experience in these playoff runs. So I kind of like go back and forth. It's just a matter of if Breanna Stewart actually plays this season. If not, I'm saying tank. But it would be a little tough to tank too, because if they resign Tina, you bring back Jewel, you might be able to sneak into the playoffs. So, but we'll see how that shakes. So they got a lot of time left. We got a lot of time left. But I did want to make sure that we paid tribute properly to these two ladies, because they have left the game, and that is Sylvia Fowles and Sue Bird. And as y'all are watching this, just know we're transitioning on over to another team. It's called the Indiana Fever. So, but just stay tuned.
Fourth playoff spot, which means they would host Washington away. Sill, double team. Didn't matter. Rated as a defender? Yes. Good quick answer. Charles, all the way across. The aerial powers. Sue up. Trying to get it inside to Fowles. Ball taken away. Head on a swivel. Bird gets it to Stewie, who... This is a team that takes an awful lot of threes. A third of their points coming from outside. Only New Charles. There's Shepard wearing a mask. Broke her nose earlier this season. January also playing in her final season. Finds Charles. They're getting him on the offense. Lloyd, nice bounce pass to Charles, and then Sylvia Fowles delights the crowd with that or their ticket buying if they're in one of the markets. Sill. A favorable matchup against Carlton. Talented. Fowles working on Stewie, goes with the left hand. Dropping the bucket of all the things that Sylvia Fowles has done in this league. Count it for Charles. It's a piece, or pardon me, with 19 and 16 respectively. Here's Sue again. Gets her first points of the game on her patented pull-up. When they get going on Wednesday, Lindsay Allen, Fowles working hard on something that Sylvia has been interested in since she was young. Phantom passed up the three to drive. Sylvia turns, shoots over Stewart. Stewie, great catch, doubled quickly. January left open. That's her second three of the game. Powers. All right, aerial power. Passed up the three to get it into Stewart. Ooh. Etiquette to the Minnesota game. Here is Steph Talbot. They should. And the number one answer should be Sylvia Fowles. Powers. Minnesota has lost by all season, but a great crowd in Minnesota. They had to open up the upper deck, all coming out to thank Sylvia Fowles for all that she has done.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, cut.